The deal was with the farmers, when filming was over, the farmers wanted it all to be destroyed. Burn back to the land. No plans for anything else other than that. So that's what happened. At the end of the Lord of the Rings, they dismantled most of it. They got down to 17 holes in the ground with some white plywood fronts that was left over, and a big storm came through. And it rained so long and hard it became impossible to finish the job. So they left it for a few months. In the meantime, the first movie came out of the cinema, and the local people wanted to see where it had all taken place. So they started to pause. But for years, all people could see were literally holes in the ground. Now, fortunately, the director came back in 2008 and said, can he come back and rebuild it for the Hobbit movies? And the farmers said, yes, come back, very welcome. But they decided what would be a great idea would be if Peter Jackson became a partner in the business, and also that this time they could build it so it lasts for 50 years so they could show off on the tours. So this is why, folks, what you see today is the last film set from the movies. Built to last. Out of those 158 locations, it's the only one left. Kind of sad, really, isn't it? But good at the same time. So they go for the English cottage garden look. That's the whole idea. And you'll expect to see flowers such as foxgloves and hollyhocks, delphiniums, snapdragons growing in this environment. Certainly more apparent in spring. Now this area here is called the Dell. And a dell is a small valley. See here? They've got a frog pond. Now during filming there were so many frogs in that pond making so much noise that they got in the way of capturing good sound. And you imagine if you're an actor standing here trying to deliver a line of dialogue and all you can hear is the sound of ribbit, ribbit. It'd be very off-putting, wouldn't it? So they sent in the crew into the pond and they scooped up all the frogs, and you'll be pleased to know they found another pond where they placed them in and they lived happily ever after. But frogs like to come home, and that's what they did. So now as we stand here and talk, it won't be surprising if those frogs start singing to you. They've done it on both my tours this morning already, so we'll see. Now folks, over here we have an orchard, and in the books it describes Hobbiton as having hobbits sitting under plum trees. So the director, Peter Jackson, thought about putting plum trees over here to keep it authentic. But they soon realised the actors were too big for the small trees. They needed bigger trees. So they planted apple and pear trees here instead. Now before filming started, they plucked off the fruit and all the leaves, and can you guess, they attached artificial plums and artificial plum leaves so they became plum trees. That's how fussy they were. They wanted it to be perfect, just like the books described. You see the house with the yellow door just up ahead? They say it's the home of Bilbo's cousins, the Sackville Baggins family. That's your cue to go boo, hiss, because they were kind of baddies. You may remember in the last Hobbit film, right at the end. There we go. You think someone's pressing a button behind the scenes, wouldn't you? But in real frogs. They'll probably get louder as well. But anyway, Bilbo returns home at the end of the movie, and do you know, when he gets to his house, do you know what he finds there? Well, he finds hobbits are selling off all of his furniture. They don't think he's coming home, do they? He bumps into his cousin, Lobelia, walking away with a box of his silver spoons, where he grabs them back and he bans hobbits from going back inside his house. Now later on, when we watch the Lord of the Rings film, nephew Frodo put a sign on his gate, and it says, "No admittance except on party business," because he doesn't want hobbits back inside to steal any more stuff. And you'll see the sign on his gate at the top of the hill later on, and maybe if you go to the gift shop later, you'll see it in there for sale. Put it on your bedroom door. So we're going to go this way, folks, and we'll end up on the other side of the pond in a few minutes.
What is it? What is it? Teddy. I saw it in our local waitress.
Yeah,
It is, it's not to buy it.
I wouldn't eat it. I don't know how to look at it for a start. It's like a dead crocodile. You see that thing on the... You see it, that one on the news? You know, the other day, you know that? So the people, the tourists are walking like this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden out comes this big, huge alligator. And it walks right across the path. And they go, it's taking photos of it.
What, a real one?
Yeah, it's a monster. Yeah, last change. What about that big alligator thing?
Now, folks, if you look down here, that vessel, the Hobbit boats down there, can you see that basket beside the lake? They're called coracles, and they do exist in old British history, Celtic, Gaelic history, and you can almost imagine a hobbit bobbing up and down in the lake, couldn't you, while inside one of those boats. You can press the act if you want to, man, look like you're chopping.
I'm trying to show scale.
So we've got all sorts of vegetables growing here, you'll notice. Kale over there, and artichokes, radishes, potatoes.
Any of the actors been back here for a tour?
Apparently they have, I haven't seen any myself, but then they'll be like tucked away with a private tour with the manager probably.
Right.
You know. When they opened up the Green Dragon Inn for the public, the inside, they had an open day, open event, and they invited the dwarves that were in the movies. They came and yeah, were posed photos of them. But we get celebrities to come. You know, there might be maybe pop stars doing a gig up in Auckland. They'll come down for the day on a day off and get a look around. Singer Sam Smith, you know him? Yeah. Eddie Izzard, comedian, both known in England and America. Joe Jonas Brothers. Different 80s bands that played here. I've had on my tour. Remember, those of you who remember the 80s, the band Hat. Remember them? Yeah. They came here.
You have Axl Rose here later, won't it?
What is he coming? Is he to? Good way to do it, never know. Now folks, I want to point out, see that tree on top of the hill where all those people are gathered? That's our fake tree. It's made totally out of steel, silicone and foam, and the leaves are made in Taiwan. 200,000 leaves. Those frogs. Excuse me. Those, that's made out of steel, silicone, and the leaves made in Taiwan. 200,000 leaves brought to New Zealand and attached by hand to the branches. Originally there was a real oak tree. They chopped down from a nearby farm, chopped into sections, into slices, and stuck on a steel spike above that house. And that was okay for the Lord of the Rings films, but once filming was over, they got rid of the tree. When they came back to rebuild, they needed another tree to go in that space. But the problem was, the story takes place 60 years earlier. It's a prequel. So they needed a tree that was similar in shape, but smaller because it had to be younger. And of course they couldn't find it. So they made a fake house. So we're going to go higher up the hill, folks. You'll be able to see for yourselves how fake or how real it looks close up. But when we go higher, we're going to go to a house with a red door, because you can push the door open on that one. You can stand in the doorway and stick your head out for a photo, which I'm sure you'd like to do. So if you'd like to follow me up the hill, do watch your step. The ground is uneven, so we don't want you to trip up. Pause a moment, have a little look. Well, those 5 hobbit holes, folks, just to your left, they're new hobbit holes. They were built just for the last Hobbit film. Bilbo walks past them as he's walking back home to the auction. He walks along the path at the top, and going back in the opposite direction are a whole line of hobbits carrying his furniture. And that's his first clue to something amiss at his house. And once that work moves on, we'll go to the house and go inside next minute. Yeah.
Picture of yourself there.
Yeah, maybe. When everyone else is done.
Yeah.
Sure.
You tell me what to press, then I'll.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
It's your turn.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, just let.